Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Shades here. If it's your first time stopping by, be sure to subscribe and give me a thumbs up. It really helps the channel grow. Now let's jump into the video. Ilus sitting at 0049. This is a buy. I am going to continue to pound the table on this being a buy. If we look at the many moves this stock has made, despite the lack of catalyst, despite the lack of news, this stock on a fart can move from 0075 here to 12, a 005 move on absolutely nothing, because nothing happened. A Q came out, but nothing. There was not much. Not much has been happening in terms of catalyst headlines, PRs that can move the stock. But on a gas, it can move from 0075 to 12. Now let's go back here. Now what happens when Ilus actually drops a good headline that gets people excited? It moved from 0054 to a high of 278. My friends, if you're not buying this, you're going to regret it when this thing starts moving. This does not have the share structure of many other penny stocks. It has a pretty solid share structure to make these kinds of moves, despite the dilution that has happened since its huge run up to 50 cents. Will we ever see 50 cents again? I think it's still possible with this kind of share structure, as long as the dilution doesn't continue to, as long as they don't do what AITX is doing, which is constant dilution in the billions every year, which I don't think Ilus is going to do that. Yes, we will never see Ilus have a share structure under a billion again. I asked them that question. They never answered. So I can only assume that we're never going to see under a billion outstanding shares. I don't think it's happening. Maybe in the far, far future when they are giving out dividends and they're just this big conglomerate like Berkshire Hathaway, supposedly. Again, we have not heard anything from them. They're essentially behaving like Sybil at this point. We only hear from them when the Qs come out. That's about it. And most of the time, they kind of just tell us what we already knew or had speculated on. Either way, the next fart that happened here, 0.0208 moved from 0.0208 to a high of 3 cents. Again, on a fart. There was no... this thing, despite the company refusing to drop headlines and communicate, on a gas, can move cents. Here. I mean, even during this downtrend, there were so many opportunities. Here, when it dropped a headline, it moved from 6 to 12 cents. So don't sleep on this one just because it's at double zeros. Don't be afraid to buy in, even if it comes down lower. I just showed you this thing has a history of continuing to run. Yes, we will never see these huge 50 cent, 10, 20, 30,000% runs, but there are still opportunities for those that have the patience and the discipline. I know some of you have been upset that I quote unquote was bashing the stock. I wasn't really bashing it. I was just calling out the fact that they have all these companies underneath them, but there's been no communication in terms of what's been going on with those companies. What have they been up to? Contracts, sales numbers, innovation. No, there's been no, we don't know anything. And that's kind of suspicious, right? We would like to know what's going on. With AITX, we know what's going on all the time. And of course, the share price, it's almost the same as Ilus, but it has created a higher floor from 002 to 004. I really would like to see Ilus follow through on these uplists, because supposedly we're getting an uplist for Ilus before the end of this year. That was mentioned in the Buffalo Fireside Chats interview, I believe. So, or maybe I'm confusing it for AITX. Regardless, the point stands. Let's see if they follow through. The QIND uplist, people were excited for QIND. Supposedly we were going to get like a huge run, but we're seeing the complete opposite. So not much to say with regards to QIND other than I hope you're not like that one guy on Twitter who bought millions of shares at 20 cents thinking it was going to go to the moon, and now it's at 6 cents. So that guy's probably not very happy. Saml, if Saml's going to follow QIND, we're probably not going to see much of anything other than continued downtrending, despite the ticker change, which we're still waiting on that, and dividends, I believe, as well for either shareholders. There's a lot that they talked about, but again, no real timelines, and the few timelines they have given us, it's like, well, it didn't really do much. Now did it? And the only thing that benefited from all the only stock that has benefited, funny enough, is ASNS because of its low float, and it's the one constantly getting PRs. So if anything, it's this one that you want to pay attention to if you're looking for a stock that's actually going to create a higher floor because they keep dropping PRs. They keep communicating, and that is always going to be important. So finally, ASNS. I know some of you have been waiting for me to talk about ASNS. They are barely holding on here inside this wedge. Be very careful. I'm going to wait until after the wedge finishes, wherever it's gonna go one way or the other. I'm not gonna play this game. I would rather wait and see what direction it goes in. If it explodes, congratulations to the people who had the balls to get in there. But for me, I'll wait, and if it comes down, I'll just buy nice and cheap at around $1. That is where I will be looking to buy. Again, we like buying wherever the previous floor was, or the absolute floor down here at the at 0.44. I mean, look at this. This thing was trending to the downside, and one fart, aka one catalyst, and whew, now it's up here at dollars. If we want to see that with Ilus and its subsidiaries, they got to communicate. And I think that's very important. But some people disagree. Some people say, hey, they don't have to communicate. They can just stay quiet and let the stock price continue to dump. So I can accumulate as a long over and over, just keep buying as it goes lower to triple zeros eventually. That seems to be the pattern. That pattern has not changed, unfortunately, for ILUS. That pattern will change when it starts behaving more like ASNS, starts dropping PRs, starts communicating. So again, you take away what you want from this video, but I just gave you a ton of data and information on the fact that, hey, despite the lack of PRs, when it does drop them, it can move cents. Even without PRs, it's still on a fart. It can move a whole 0.05, and that's good enough to make you money because it'll touch 1 penny. And that is the target, my friends. The target is 1 penny. Continue to buy and accumulate. Trust the process, as some people like to say. That cliche, trust the process, believe in the strategy, and you will make money as long as you are disciplined and patient. If you followed my alerts, you would have made well over 20%, not just on the previous one, but possibly on the next one as well. So don't forget to hit the subscribe button. And if you missed out on this trade alert and the previous alerts, feel free to join the premium Discord, link in the description below, and I will see you guys in the next video.